You know that feeling, right? That nagging little voice in the back of your head telling you there's something really important you should be doing, but for some reason you're just not. Well, that's procrastination. And today we're going to finally unlock why it happens and, way more importantly, how you can actually break free from it. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? It's this comforting little promise we make to ourselves. But what if I told you that behind that super simple phrase, there's a much more complicated game at play?
So what is it really? Is saying tomorrow just a harmless way to manage our time? Or is it actually a subtle psychological trap that our own brains are laying for us? Let's get into it and figure this out.
You know, this whole thing reminds me of a video game called I'll Do It Tomorrow. In the game, you're just trapped on this weird, endless floor of an office building. And honestly, it's such a perfect metaphor for procrastination. That feeling of being completely stuck, like you took a wrong turn somewhere and now you just can't find your way back. Okay, this is the first big mental shift we all need to make. Procrastination is not a sign of laziness. It's not some kind of character flaw. The latest research is really clear on this. This isn't about managing your time better. It's about managing your emotions. It's literally a tug-of-war happening inside your own mind.
When you look at the official definition, it really lays the paradox bare. The two key words here are voluntarily and expecting to be worse off. Think about that. This isn't something that just happens to us. It's a choice we actively make, even when we know, deep down, that it's probably going to come back to bite us. And that paradox? It's not just a one-time thing. Oh no, it's a cycle. It's a predictable, emotional roller coaster that so many of us ride over and over again. So let's break down the stages of what researchers call the procrastination cycle. I'm guessing this looks pretty familiar, right? It always starts with so much hope, but that optimism quickly fades and anxiety starts to creep in. So to deal with that bad feeling, we avoid the real task by doing something else that feels productive, like, alphabetizing your spice rack. And then, bam, the deadline is here, it's a mad scramble, and we're left with that empty, hollow promise, never again. Until the next time.
So why on earth do we keep buying a ticket for this miserable ride? What is going on in our brains that makes this cycle so hard to resist? Well, it all boils down to a fundamental conflict between two different versions of you.
Okay, here it is, the heart of the conflict. Your present self just wants to feel good right now. That's its only job. So when it's faced with a tough or boring task, its first instinct is to find relief. And the easiest way to do that? Just kick the can down the road to your future self. Present you imagines that future you will magically be more motivated and ready to handle it. The only tiny problem is, eventually you become future you, and now you're the one left holding the bag. This little mental glitch has a name. It's called temporal discounting. It's our brain's weird tendency to believe our future selves are basically superheroes. They'll have more time, more energy, more focus. It's like we treat our future self as a totally different, more responsible person. We're essentially writing checks that our very human, not so super future self is going to have to cash. And the cost of cashing all those checks? It is staggering. A study by Rescue Time actually found that the average knowledge worker, someone who works at a computer, gets only about 2 hours and 48 minutes of truly productive work done in an 8-hour day. The rest of that time is just getting eaten up by distractions and delays, with procrastination as a prime suspect. And this chart, wow, this really drives the point home. A study from 2020 found a direct link between how much you procrastinate and how you handle your emotions. The data shows it clearly. The more you procrastinate, the more difficulty you report in managing your feelings. This isn't a time management problem, it's a feeling management problem. Okay, so we're stuck on the endless office floor, we're caught in this emotional loop, and our brain is actively working against us. I know it sounds a little bleak, but it's not. The key to getting out of this trap isn't to just try harder or have more willpower. It's about having a better plan, a real escape plan. And that brings us to the most important question of all. How do we actually close that giant gap between what we intend to do and what we actually do? If we can't rely on motivation, which, let's be honest, comes and goes, what can we rely on? The answer is a system. And that system has a name. It's called an implementation intention. Don't let the fancy name fool you. It's a super simple but incredibly powerful if-then plan. It lets you make the decision before you're in that moment of weakness. You preload your response, which basically takes emotion and all that guesswork right out of the equation. It all starts with a very specific if, a cue, and I mean very specific. This isn't some vague, I'll get to it later. This is
if it is 9 a.m. on Monday, or if I finish my morning coffee, or if I walk through my front door after work. The more concrete and clear the cue is, the better this works. And that if is followed by an equally specific then. For example, if it's 9 a.m. on Monday, then I will immediately open the presentation file and just write the title. Or for a personal goal, if I lay out my gym clothes the night before, then the first thing I do when I wake up is put them on. See? You're linking the action directly to the cue, creating a script for your brain to follow. The behavior starts to become automatic, and you get to bypass that need for motivation altogether.
So what happens in the long run when you start using these tiny, planned actions to break that procrastination cycle? Well, it's about so much more than just getting more stuff done. It's about rebuilding something that procrastination slowly, quietly steals from us, our confidence in ourselves.
Think about it. Every single time we procrastinate, we are, on some level, breaking a promise to ourselves. But every single time we follow through on one of these little if-then plans, we're keeping a promise. And that is how you build self-trust. Confidence isn't some big, grand thing you're born with. It's earned, one small, kept promise at a time.
And this quote just gets to the absolute heart of it, doesn't it? We're always waiting for that perfect moment to start, for some magical burst of motivation to strike. But that moment never comes. The time will never be just right. The only time we really have is right now.
So, I'll leave you with this one final question. What's one small, super specific, if-then plan you can make for yourself right now for today? Don't wait for tomorrow. Define your cue, decide on your action, and take that first crucial step off the procrastination floor. Thanks for joining me.